So a newspaper posted that this is the highest deportation taking place in Nigeria and Ghana and other countries they mentioned. So the question was, they had a poll where people will go and vote. Is it okay for people to stay back? Is it okay for them to leave them? They even try to, the government, UK government tried to see how they can take some of these people who came to seek asylum to another country in Africa. They set up a place, ensure that they put every equipment. They would send them to school for to graduation level. They will feed them for 5 years. They'll give them accommodation for 5 years. They said out of everybody, only 3 people agreed to is it Ugali called the place in one of these African countries. So now that they are saying it's the highest, because it is the Ghana and Nigeria that were at the front, at the headlines. It was the headlines they used that to capture people to come watch and also read their newspaper to see what they were saying. In as much as some, you know, asylum seekers are running because of war, some people are coming to the UK through the sea. They showed about a guy that was arrested and locked and put in prison for 17 years because he was always using small boats to bring in people into the UK, and he's a white guy. Moreover, he's not a Nigerian, he's not an African. He brings in people and then they'll do videos thanking him for being the best person to cross the ocean with them, and the ocean or Atlantic Ocean, wherever, with them, and they'll be celebrating. So those videos were now used to prosecute him because they came as a hardcore evidence against him. So the question now is, should they return those people? What should they do to them? Because the children are amongst them. Some self, husband and wife, they are still giving birth in the process. It goes to show how our continent had been looked down on. And I think that in as much as they didn't mention other countries, they just decided to mention Nigeria and Ghana. I think because Nigeria and Ghana had more people in those they are deporting, I think we should look inward as Africans and get our acts right. Because when we talk of Africans, most people say, "Oh, I'm not African. I don't want to even be talked about. I don't want." The other day, I saw a video that went viral of a South African guy who was crying that he needs South African government to come to his aid. Apparently, he traveled out. I think it's the UK or so. When he got there, he got into crime, and they decided to arrest him. So I don't know if it was where they were carrying to, whether it was a prison, and he was crying that they should please come to his aid, that he was being tricked into this whole thing, that it wasn't his intention. That goes to show you that there is no country in Africa that does not have their people in different, first world countries doing one thing or the other. Maybe they ran for asylum, maybe they came there. So the bottom line is, when you go to those places, don't go on any visa that promises to convert your visa later. Go with a legal document so that when they are sending people away, they will not have to send you away. Even those of you who don't have children, you may thinking going alone is going to make them keep you there. I feel you should check the options, because this is a very dicey topic. And it's not a topic that people will just talk about anyhow. It's a topic that is very dicey. We need to look at it holistically. Do you think those people should be sent back? Me, I feel that those who have very genuine cases of maybe they were being pursued out of their country, or they were going through war crisis and all of those things, they should consider them and take them in, give them documents. But for the ones that traveled there on their own, through the sea or any other means, and said through any other cunning means, those ones, it's okay to send them back. I know some people will come for me. Why do you want them to send them back? Are you going to be the one to cater for them? But is it not better? Because they said they had to close down some hotels in the UK. courtesy of this whole thing, because so many asylum seekers were there, and it was putting strain on the government, because the government needed to pay them, pay their hotel bills, because right now they don't really have much land in the UK to build, and the UK is crowded. So my own is, dear Nigerians in diaspora, dear Nigerians anywhere in the world, if you are in a place with an illegal documentation, please come back. Come back. It's better for them, for you to be in Nigeria than going to a place where they are pursuing you every day. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Recently, a lot of Nigerians relocated back to Nigeria. Some Ghanaians I heard also relocated back to Ghana. I think that's a welcome development. We should come back to our countries and get documentation the right way before we travel. Because I cannot say, oh, don't travel, you must stay in your country, because Nigerians have it in their culture to always travel. So I cannot now be the one to tell you, do not travel, you have to live here, you have to remain here. Mbao, as much as you can, work your papers in the right way and travel in the right way. That's my opinion. For those of you who are watching, what's your opinion? Let me know on the comment section what your opinions are. If you listen to all these people running away from the country, you will see that it still boils down to government policies. Because I've seen a man that told me, say, Mommy, triple C, I didn't want to go to the UK. I didn't want to go anywhere. If I was to relocate, I would have relocated in my 20s. I would have relocated in my 30s. But look at me. I'm relocating in my 40s. This was not what I planned for my family. This was not what... But look at the way the country is. Are you happy? What should I do? I need a better life for my children. So we need to go. I have to go back to school. He picked up his form. He has gotten a master's. He went back to the UK to go and do a master's. From the master's, he will start a PhD. All that is so that as he's going to school, his children are also going to school. Even though the children will be on is free, they'll be going to school. He will be going to school, paying fees. And then his wife is working. And before the children grow to a certain extent, they would have been used to the football academy because they are footballers. So gradually, before you know it, everything is in sync. But most times, I get upset with people who told us, oh, this president is good, he will do this. They will tell us about a president, sell the idea. The president will be sworn in, and the next minute, those same people will travel. They will relocate out of the country. And this is what brings me to say that if we can stop all this tribalism, all this nepotism, and look inward and think of each other as brothers in Nigeria, as Africans, people will not be throwing us here and there. Every time Africans are being sent out of in the first world countries, they colonized us, yes. But as we are big enough to take care of ourselves and stop blaming our colonizers. Because if you give birth to a child who is up to 60 years, who is up to 40 years, and they're not able to work out things for themselves, you as a parent will not be happy. At that time, people will not fault you because you did your bit. You did your bit. You tried your best. It's just a shocking one. It's just a sad one that Africans, on a daily basis, the UK is flinging out Africans, deporting Africans in their large numbers. It's not nice. They caught one guy who is, I think, from one of either Amsterdam, I can't remember. They caught him, bringing in people with this. There's something that he carries, like it's a small car. They use it to travel by sea. And the guy is doing it, so they had to extradite him to his country to go and face prosecution. So these are all the things that are happening on a daily basis in Africa. And, the small-minded people will come and be fighting out which country is the best. Why not hold your leaders accountable? Because if our leaders are doing the right thing, we'll not be struggling which country is the best. That's my honest opinion. But guys, let me know in the comment section which do you think is the right thing for them to do? Should they keep them there and co-opt them into the situation, or what? Should they send them back to their countries? What do you really think? Because they say they are spending a lot to take care of those people. And I think I feel for them also, because it's not easy for them to be going through that? Let's know your thoughts on the comment section.